my nice little, what do you call yourselves, the Algebra 1 peeps. All right, so like I said earlier this morning, I'm going to drop up with part 2. So I'm going to move ahead real quick because this is where we left off, where we were at this morning in class. All right, classwork, that kind of stuff. So here's the thing. I'm going to, we're going to pick up right here. Okay? Not like that, though. We're going to pick up right here. All right? But I'm going to zoom in so we get close here. All right, so recall the properties of inequalities, okay? So if A is greater than B, okay, then A plus C has to be greater than B plus C. The idea is if this is 9 and this is 6, then 9 plus C has got to be greater than 6 plus C because C is going to be the same number, okay? The multiplication property of inequality states that if A is greater than B, then K times A has got to be greater than K times B for any positive real number. That is the stressor, a positive real number, okay? So using the properties of inequality to show that each of the following is true for any real numbers P and Q. Okay, so we have some inequalities here, all right, and they want us to use the properties of inequalities, okay? So, for example, all right, for part A, if P is greater than or equal to Q, then a negative P has to be less than or equal to a negative Q. So, to prove this, we're going to rewrite it as the addition property of inequality, okay? If P plus C is greater than or equal to Q, okay, then a negative P plus C has to be less than or equal to a negative Q plus C. All right, now how do we prove this? Okay, well, we need values. Okay, so let's give some values here. Let's say that P equals 5, C equals 3, and Q equals a negative 4. Okay, because P is greater than Q, so the value P has to be greater than the value Q. All right, so now let's prove it, okay? And I sat there and did that. I cannot believe, why in the world didn't y'all catch me? I should not have a deletion. I should not have that there. All right, my bad, guys. If P is greater than or equal to Q, then a negative P plus C is less than or equal to a negative Q plus C. Okay, so we're going to prove this, okay? Here is P greater than Q. Now we're going to prove that P is greater than Q, okay, by using this inequality. All right, so a negative P, or a negative 5, plus C, which is 3, is going to be less than or equal to a negative 4 plus a positive 3. Okay, negative 5 plus 3 is going to give me a negative 2, and that is less than or equal to a negative 4 plus 3, which is going to be a negative 1. It checks. Okay, so we have proven that this inequality is true. As long as P is greater than Q, then a negative P will be less than or equal to a negative Q. That is true. So we're good to go. Okay, so that's all you're doing when we're talking about using properties of inequalities. So I want to see if you can use that to do B. That will be your homework. Okay? All right, so moving on. Ooh, some more. Okay. Let's see. Let's do C for homework, and we're going to do D for classwork. Okay. All right. Let me clear all my annotations off here real quick because I want to be able to zoom in. All right. So solve a negative 4 plus 2t minus 14 minus 18t is is greater than a negative 6 minus 100t for t in two different ways. First, without ever multiplying through by a negative number, and then first multiplying through by a negative 1/2. Huh, that's interesting. It's an interesting statement. So the first one we have to do is without ever multiplying through by a negative number. Okay. So without ever multiplying through by a negative number. This is a good one. Well, why don't we go through the simplifying process here, okay? Let's regroup these terms here, okay? So I want 2t minus 18t together. Minus 4 minus 14 is greater than a negative 6 minus 100t. Okay, so let's start working here, okay? So 2t minus 18t would be a negative 16t. Negative 4 minus 14 is going to be a negative 18, is greater than a negative 6 minus 100t. All right, so it says first without ever multiplying through a negative number, and then by first multiplying through by negative 1/2. Okay, so I don't have to multiply by a negative number to fix this to where I don't have any negatives. There is another way that I can get rid of all the negatives without having to multiply. Okay, I just got to look at all my values. 16, 18, 6, and 100. Those are all divisible by 2. So what if I divide the entire inequality by 2? But instead of a positive 2, we're going to divide by a negative 2. Remember what I said, whatever you do to the left side, you got to do to the right side. So if I'm dividing everything by a 2 on the left, I got to divide everything by a negative 2 on the right. So negative 16t divided by a negative 2 would be 8t. And negative 18 plus 2 would be a positive 9, is less than a negative 6 divided by a negative 2 would be a positive 3. And a negative 100t divided by a negative 2 would be a positive 50t. Okay, now I can solve. Okay, I can subtract 3 from both sides. Okay, 3 minus 3 is 0, 9 minus 3 is 6. So now I have 8t plus 6 is less than 50t. Okay, I'm going to shoot this up here real quick. All right, so now you got, let's see, we're going to subtract 8t from each side. So 8t minus 8t plus 6 is less than 50t minus 8t. 8t minus 8t is 0, leaves me 6 is less than 42t. Divide each side by 42. Okay, 42 divided by 42 is 1, leaves me just t less than 1/7. Now, you got to flip these, okay? You can't have the variable on the right side. It's got to be on the left side. So when you flip it, it's just like you're looking into a mirror and you're getting a reflection, okay? So we're reflecting this. So if t was, then we're just going to rewrite it as if it's a reflection, okay? T, instead of less than, would be greater than 1/7. They're reflections of each other, okay? All right, so that's one way. All right. I want you to do the second part by multiplying through by a negative 1/2. Okay? I want you to try that one. Whew, some of these are getting fun. All right? These are some interesting problems. All right, so 7. Solve a negative x divided by 4 plus 8 is less than 1/2 for x in 2 different ways. First, without ever multiplying through by a negative number, and then by first multiplying through at negative 4. Okay, I'm going to do the negative 4 one, okay? So a negative x divided by 4 plus 8 is less than 1/2. Okay, now we're going to multiply by a negative 4, so that means we're multiplying everything by a negative 4. Okay? So that means we've got to use the distributive property. A negative 4 times x times a negative x to the 4th power. The 4's reduce out. A negative times a negative is a positive x. Negative 4 times a positive 8 gives me a negative 32 is less than. Half times a negative 4 will give me a negative 2. Wait a minute. I did something wrong and we should all catch it. I cannot leave my symbol as less than because I multiplied both sides by a negative 4, so I got to rewrite it. X minus 32 is greater than a negative 2. Now I can add 32 to each side. Okay, 32 minus 32 is 0, leaves me X is greater than 32 minus 2 is 30, so my answer is X equals 30. You get to do the second part as homework. Just a couple problems. I'm not trying to put too much weight on you here, okay? All right. Like I said, watch this over and over again if I went too fast on you, okay? All right, let's see. Where are we at now? Okay, problem sets. Hallelujah. We get to the problem sets. That means we're almost done. Okay. Now, I don't think it's fair that we should do all the problem sets for homework, and we're not going to do all the problem sets for homework, okay? All right. So here's how this is going to work, okay? I want you to do let me get my pen. I want you to do A and C for homework. We'll do the rest for classwork. I want you to, we're going to save this one for classwork. We're going to save this for classwork. And we're going to save this for classwork. So I guess technically I want you to do A, B, and E for homework. So A, B, and E will be for homework, okay? And then we will hop to the next lesson, all right? I know this one took a little bit longer to do, like unlike some of the other lessons we've had. But I'm actually much appreciative that this one actually took 2 days. It merely makes us get that necessary information. So if you have any questions, like I said, email me, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning, all right? Y'all have a good night. Au revoir, arrivederci, ciao, hasta luego, aloha, konnichiwa, all right? And niet just means no. Niet. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. Short video. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, okay?